Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming to the today's Restaurant News Networking Group. Today, Today is March 21st, and I'm Howard Appel, the founder and publisher of today's Restaurant News. We are a group of vendors in the restaurant industry who are here to help each other grow our businesses, and we position ourselves as experts in the field so that anybody with a question or a problem or an issue in their restaurant business can contact us and we'll be happy to help you with it. If you want to reach us, give us a call at 561 620 8888. We'll go to our website, trnusa.com, and also check out our YouTube channel, which can be accessed from our website at trnusa.com. And good morning, everybody.
Good
Morning.
morning, Howard. How are
Good
you?
morning.
Today,
I can't find my sunglasses this morning.
Can't find the sun.
so, I want to do something a little different today. Um, we've talked many times what a restaurateur would need to open a restaurant prior to opening. So today I want to switch it off a little bit and talk about what a restaurant should be doing, or any business actually, after they're open. What steps to promote the business once they're open. And I think Andrew might find this apropos.
Okay.
So the question I asked the question to Chat GPT, and I'm not going to read it. I'm thinking we could discuss it. If you have any ideas, and then I can elaborate on it based on what Chat said. Or anybody want to have an idea they want to start? There's a lot of things that happen.
Okay, so what's the topic again? What does a restaurant have to have? Is that what you're asking?
No. After a restaurant opens, what does a restaurant need to do to promote itself and to build the business?
Okay. Well, I'll go first. You in today's day and age, you definitely need social media. You can't ignore it. You can't try to do it without it. Um, and honestly, I'm struggling in that department. As the owner of the business, you get caught up in the day-to-day responsibilities of the business, the nuts and bolts, the things that have to take place. But in the back of my mind, I know that I need to carve out time to address this monster, which is this social media. And you've gotta open Instagram accounts and Facebook accounts, and you can't use the excuse that's not my thing. I like to fly below the radar. Even if you do that in your personal life, I guess you can. And that's kind of how I've been in my personal life, but I have to drop that. I've got to be out there. And if it crosses over in my personal life, it does. So be it. Yeah.
I think that in your situation, you have to decide. Everybody knows that Andrew is a pie manufacturer, and you have to decide whether you're going to continue to go to farmers markets and sell, or you're going to go to
Well, yeah. Yeah.
so
And I think that opening up out of the gate in December, how we did, and choosing to go to the farmers markets was a good idea. It was a great idea. When you go to the farmers markets and you're talking with your customers face to face, you're getting immediate feedback. I mean, they're telling you whether they like the pie, whether they don't like it, if they think it's too sweet, not sweet enough. Do you have a sugar-free version? Do you have a gluten-free version? You start getting all these questions that you didn't even think about, and it gives you a lot to digest. And at the same time, it's given me 3 or 4 months to, no, I'm not going to say perfect, but to understand the operations that have to happen in the kitchen. To
Right.
how many hours a day do I need my employees to come in? Um, because I got to make 50 pies. What's the difference between 50 pies and 100 pies? And, and get down your ingredients and how much you should order. So you're not under ordering, but you're not over ordering. So yeah, I think getting out of the gates, going to the farmers markets, getting the product out there, getting the feedback was essential. And I think in some sense we'll always do that. We're currently at 4 markets. We're in Hollywood, Florida, Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale. It's Yellow Green. We have a Sunday morning Boca market every Sunday. We have a Saturday morning Del Rey. And then just starting for us, we discovered this thing called the Loop, and it's Las Olas. It's Las Olas and A1A. And I have to tell you, so it's right on the beach. It's by the Elbow Room. If any of you have ever
Yeah.
seen that or ventured into it, nobody forgets the Elbow Room. But it's spring break. It happens to be spring break right now.
Right.
And, all the kids are down there. All the college kids are. The scenery is interesting. I'll just the scenery, yeah, is hey, I'm there to sell pies, but I don't I don't mind the scenery. While it's making it pleasant to try to do it at the same time. But yeah, so we're at those markets. It is tough though. It's physically demanding, and a lot of my dad is my partner, and he's in his 80s. So and my mom as well, and they man one of the markets, uh, and they do a great job. But I can't count on that forever. Like I don't want to work my parents to death. So yep, the markets were a good way to start, and maybe we'll always continue in that way. But we've been shifting over. We've been trying to shift over to sales to restaurants, direct sales to restaurants to begin to try to get on their menus. And I've been able to, now that I do have the kitchen, humming along pretty well, I can extract myself from the kitchen and spend time making appointments with restaurant owners and chefs where I can walk in and meet with them in person, show them some samples, and try to bust into the restaurant industry as well. And so that's right where we are right now. We're right in the middle of trying to shift over and concentrate on that.
Hey, hey, Andrew, I really, really do agree with you on the social media aspect, but to do it, you really have to know your target market.
Yeah.
Okay, are you trying to market to what generation? Because what we're seeing in our industry is more of the clientele that we use are using Facebook more than Twitter and Instagram. And
Okay.
if you hit all three of them, it just depends on, will one be successful or the other? I mean, you're down at the beach. By the way, is your dad going to the beach with you? Because he probably enjoys the scenery as well.
He was with me. Yep. He saw
But
everything he saw. Yeah.
yeah, but your target market is just as important, because if you're trying to market a restaurant and you're marketing to the wrong target age, you're not going to succeed. Hey, Howard, this would have been a good question for Steve, because he's in the industry of selling and buying. Location also can play a big role in what you need to do afterwards. Because if it's successful, like hopefully Andrew does, what's the next step? How do I expand? How do I pivot?
I was going to bring that up because one of the things that this article brought up was something that you and I were discussing prior to the meeting starting. Exactly what you're doing today is getting out to the community that you're trying to reach, getting out and making contact with the community. And when I say community, that could be uh, people all over the country or people in your neighborhood. And you want to say something,
Yeah.
Rick? What you're doing today is something that's right in that wheelhouse.
Yeah, what we're doing is the Medicare market for agent is becoming extremely saturated in the area we live in. The city is growing fast and fast and fast. We have a lot of Medicare eligible age individuals retiring here, so we're having to pivot and going out to the actual businesses. So, for instance, I can do group benefits all day long, but who's going to take care of those retirees once they leave the company? So we're walking in the front door unannounced. Hey, we'd like to talk to your HR manager. Oh, what can we tell them who you are? Yeah, just tell them that Rick and Randy here talked to them about Medicare. And that's it.
Mhm.
To see what they say. And if they come out, then we're going to say, what is your biggest pain point for individuals that are getting ready to retire? And they're going to say they don't know what to do about their health coverage. We're your problem solvers. We can come in to your business at a zero cost to you, and we can do educational seminars. Then once we build a relationship and we build the trust, then we can take the next step. What's your pain point on your voluntary benefit side? And it just builds and builds and builds, and then it just grows. We're going to, in the small town of Arab. Brian, have you ever heard of Arab, Alabama?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay, so it's small town, maybe
Yeah.
of about 12,000 people, 15,000 total, but there's 12 different manufacturing companies in this one town. Somebody may have already tapped it, but we don't know. But we're going to go knock on the doors and say, hey, we're here to help you. And it's no different than what Andrew's doing. Andrew's going to the restaurants. Now, I don't know if he's making appointments, but if he's just walking in saying, hey, I've got something that I think would be great on your menu.
Both. Mhm.
Let either that, or let's set an appointment where you're not so busy, and I'm going to bring you in some samples of something that I think that would be fantastic on your menu, because I can sell it to you for this price. You can sell it for that price. I make money, you make profit, and it just snowballs.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do. And I'll tell you, that is way outside of my comfort zone. Completely out of my comfort zone. But if you don't do it,
Yeah.
somebody else is going to. Somebody's going to
Mhm.
take your idea, because we're trying to do something that people aren't doing yet. Everybody's doing the social media aspect. Everybody's
Yeah.
buying the lead list. Everybody's buying, and that's nothing against what Terry and Howard do, but in my line of work, everybody gets a phone call at least 10 times a day, right, Ed Gerton? I mean, it's something that you guys have said in the past. When are these phone calls going to stop? Okay, I figured out a way to stop it. I'm just going to go to them personally and say, hey, we want to help you.
So basically, what
Well,
you, in a small way, is what you're doing. You're leveraging an influencer or a blogger, but because that person who comes out of their office has influence over their company.
Mm.
So in a minuscule way, you're trying to influence an influencer or a blogger for that company, and which of course it translates into doing it on a larger scale as well. That's one item of many. Ed, you wanted to say something?
yeah, I was going to say, having worked in sales for pressure vessels and sheet metal work and ice cream, you haven't done enough work if you haven't been thrown out of an office. And
Yeah.
trust me, I've been thrown
Right.
out of offices.
You know what? And Ed,
I've been thrown out of
Ed, you
offices.
want
I've
to know
had
something?
dogs go after me. The owner released the dog on me one time and wouldn't call the police on me.
Whoa.
Ed, you know what we do? Ed, what we do is we consistently call, and we find out that there's new HR manager there. Guess what we do? Knock, knock, knock. New HR manager. Last one threw us out, but maybe this one will listen to us.
I had a
You're right
sales.
about that. You're right about that. Because you don't know.
Yeah.
The fact that you got thrown out of an office 2 years ago, you better go back. Because one famous one, I went down there with my partner, and we got thrown out of a guy's office in Daytona. And my parting words to him were, "Well, when you need us, you call us. You got my phone number." And he threw a pencil at me. And then about 2 months later, he called on the phone. He needed something. So it works.
Yeah.
This is what I have to look at, and this is good for Andrew or anybody. You have to respect the no's to appreciate the yeses.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Of course. That's
Well, there's a
because-
lot of sayings out there. You know, it takes 10 no's to get a yes, or whatever
like
number
that.
you know, some people say, right, 99, 100 to get, yeah. And so if you get a no, you can have the attitude of like, all right, I got a no. I'm one closer to a yes.
I had,
And, you know-
I'm interrupting. I had an appointment setter in company set appointments for me, and they were relentless in getting appointments. So they got me one appointment, and the guy took the appointment. I didn't know the backstory of the appointment setters, and he said, "Oh, I wanted to meet you to tell you never to call me again." It was horrible. And I wanted to share something with how you opened up everything, Howard. Behind me, you'll see a white ring. My son's here, who's 26 years old, and he is all about social media and Facebook and Twitter and everything you can imagine, LinkedIn. He said, "Dad, everything you do is so old school, knocking on doors, trying to see people." He said, "You have to set up a program where they come to you." And I said, "It's never going to happen in my world."
Well,
He said, this is what they're doing today.
it depends on
But the thing is, go ahead, Howard. Go ahead.
but if Andrew decides to sell his pies to the general public only, yeah, he should be all over social media. He should be on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter.
100%.
But for what you do, Herb, selling credit card processing, that's not the market. You have to do the old school way, as far as I'm concerned.
Me too. But
Hey,
it's
Herb.
funny.
Hey, Herb.
Yes.
Herb, I mean, no disrespect to your son, because that's the generation. The generation's doing that now has never pounded the pavement and knocked on the doors because they were never introduced to it.
Right.
Our kid, my daughter is the same age as your son. They were born into a generation of technology, AI, smartphones. They don't remember a rotary dial taking a quarter and putting in a payphone and knocking on the door.
And
So
looking
they
at the
think
long
that
cord
we're
phone
old
out
school.
on the street when you're in your car, so you're not getting wet.
Exactly. I mean, they don't understand. They don't appreciate the fact that you actually have to go out there. But that's not saying that what they're doing is wrong. They're just focusing on a different generation.
Mhm.
Clearly, it's interesting. He started his business about 4 months ago, and the accounts that he has are all from knocking on doors.
Funny, isn't that?
I said,
Yeah.
interesting how you're telling me all about social media and go, go, go. And I keep telling you, knock on doors, knock on doors, knock on doors. That's how you're going to get your business. That's a different world.
Jump in there, Jeremy. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say that I can relate to this a little bit with my son, because he's away at college and for some reason can't find a job. And he goes, every time I apply online, no one ever calls me back. I said, because you have to go old school, son. You have to apply for the job, walk into the place you applied to, introduce yourself to the hiring manager, say, look, I'm actually very interested. So when interview time comes, I'd love to be considered. Like, you just have to literally shake hands and kiss babies. I tell people all the time, I'm in the business of rejection, because in payroll, there's a million of me out there knocking on everybody's door, right? So
Yeah.
how do I set myself apart? So I have to just go in there without quota breath, make an introduction, try to be very I don't know, non-pushy. I don't know the word to use, but just be very conversational, actually be a consultant, because too many people are salespeople, and They're not consultants like they should be. And I literally turn business away because I consult. I've turned away 2 businesses in the last week because we were not the right fit. Like it
Well,
just, I'm not gonna go ahead.
Jeremy, talking about that, it's building relationships. I mean, you're not going to build a relationship by doing an application online because you're one of how many that are doing it online. The one that's going to get the job is the one that goes and builds the relationship with the actual hiring manager.
Yeah, but there's a problem with that, people. There are some companies right now that are structured. You can't even get in the front door anymore.
I was just gonna say that.
No,
You can't
true.
get in.
That's true.
Right.
So the only way they accept anything is if you deal with them digitally. That's it.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for a job, you have to apply on their platform, and that's it.
But you got to
it's
stalk them on
interesting
social media. Then you got to go,
And then
request them
they're
on
using
LinkedIn,
software to
request them on
filter everything.
Facebook.
So,
Well,
and
the first
Another thing with excuse me, is with applying for jobs old school. Yeah, before I owned my own businesses and stuff, I worked for companies, and even though a lot of those companies will tell you we don't accept application. You can't just walk into the store and hand in your application or ask to speak to somebody. You've got to do it through their system, and who knows if they ever even get your resume. They may have 1,000 of resumes. And I sent so many in and thought I was perfect for the job. And then you never hear back, and you're like, who did they choose? Like everything they needed was me, and I never even heard back from them. So if there's some way that if it's a franchise or a chain or something that you can walk into a store that will talk to you, you might find a manager or a GM, that will help, that will help you get your application further along than just sending it in online.
well, Andrew, you probably get further along if you identify as a female.
Well, yeah. They're obligated. They may be obligated to interview you. Yeah.
Hey,
Right.
I want to jump in.
All right,
real
I'll try
quick.
that.
And I've seen this advertised a lot of it. I guess at one time they were trying to get rid of TikTok. And TikTok now, I guess people say that they're growing their business by using TikTok. So, I mean,
Well, yeah. I've been interviewing a few social media companies. They're probably way too expensive for me to hire. I'll end up doing it myself. But I have interviewed a few just to see if what they offer, and they all seem to say TikTok. They're like, TikTok's the way to go. And then I see on the news that TikTok's about to shut down. So, like, just as I'm ready to get into the marketplace, the number one social media thing is getting shut down. I don't know if it is or not. I don't follow that
It's
closely.
not going to get shut down.
It's
They'll
not
find
right.
a buyer.
It's
They'll
all about
find a buyer for
politics.
it.
Yeah.
But
They'll
like Ed was saying, Smith and Rick, whatever. I don't mind going out knocking on doors and like if they don't want to talk to me, don't talk to me, whatever. But I think it's about picking
The right place.
the right place. Pick your right shots, okay?
Yeah.
Knowing that you're going to get through to somebody. Might take a while, but it's about, being persistent, not being a pest, but being persistent on it. Um, and a lot of mine are more on the vendor side. I'll go after vendors once in a while. I'll know somebody that can maybe get me into a restaurant but most of the time,
Well,
especially on the restaurant side, if you just walk into a restaurant, the majority of the time you're going to get that little gatekeeper and you're not going to get very far. Oh, I'll give them your business card. Nothing ever happens. So you have to go around and about and find out, like maybe with maybe some of your referral partners or somebody you work with that knows somebody, maybe get you in. Okay. But yeah, it's
I have a trick.
Let me tell you what this article said, and the very first thing that they say will relate to what you're talking about now and make it easier. See, if you walk into a place cold without them knowing your brand, it's gonna be extremely difficult to make any headway. But if you walk in and say, "Hi, I'm Pepsi Cola," or "I'm Coca Cola," or "I'm Little Debbie's Pies," whatever, they already associate you with a product, whether it's for them or not. They know the product. So the first thing that you have to do is develop a strong brand identity, and you have to choose a unique, memorable name, especially for a restaurant. Uh, Design a eye-catching logo, and create a compelling brand, which includes the online presence.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the online presence is for what we do as a group. Is the online presence is important, but it's not to bring results like retail, like it does for retail. Like if you're selling a widget and you go on TikTok, you'll sell 1 million widgets. But if you're going to sell a pie to a restaurant, I don't think that would kill it. It would help, but it's not going to kill it.
Well, Howard, what you're basically saying is you have to target what you're doing. So, like, I'm just going to like myself and Brian, we're up at the Southeast Petroleum Show. You're targeting a market there that sort of uses your product. The same thing with the Florida Restaurant Show.
Mm-hmm.
Those are places where they're going to find people that are more likely involved in restaurant business like I am, buying equipment.
Yeah.
So you got to target that kind of stuff.
Here,
Well,
just real quick, on Ed's note of somebody throwing a pencil at him as he's leaving and then calling him 2 months later when he needed that particular product, that was what he remembered, that he got so angry, and that was Ed got that sale. As a national sales manager of 10 years when I was in California, in my head, when I went to visit someone and knocked on those doors at the restaurant equipment dealers, you better make an impression that somebody else didn't make. You have to when you leave them, they have to know something is different. They can't just say, "Oh, this is another equipment dealer trying to sell me something." Make a lasting impression. And when that pencil at Ed, that was a lasting impression. But he got the sale because he was so remembered that. So it has to be not a brand identity so much, but a personal, something personal about you that they are going to remember. Do some kind of a weird card with genetics with your photo on it. Something, even if it costs you a little money, has to be something about you in particular that's going to set you apart from that next guy who's right behind you trying to get that same sale. Whether it's your personality, whether it's a conversation, whether you got personal with him, that's what you have to do. And that's why we were successful in California. That was what we did. We left everybody with the lasting impression. And 99% of the time, we got the sales.
But the trick I have, but this is easier maybe in the restaurant business industry.
No, it works in any industry. If you're a POS guy, you're going in and there's 100 behind you.
No, I know that. No,
do something special that sets you apart from that next person coming in. Have that idea or that piece of whatever it is in your hand when you walk in that door. So when you leave, that guy goes, "Wow, they really put forth a lot of effort and they know what they're doing." You have to know your product. And
well, in my case, I'm leaving food behind. I'm leaving a pie. They're going to remember that.
That's why successful at the farmer's market.
Well, Terry, also, I mean, if you're going to go out and speak to somebody, do some background checking on this particular company. What do they offer? Because the thing is the last thing you want to do is go to a company and realize, man, they weren't a good fit to begin with. I wasted 30 minutes and I could have been over here on the other side of town making a sale. If you do the background work, if you know who the contact person is, and not only that, I mean, if you're trying the best thing I ever did was I joined a small town chamber of commerce.
Yes.
That was the best thing. That was the best thing I ever did
Yeah.
because I'm meeting small business owners who are then introducing me to large business owners who may be able to use my particular service.
Absolutely.
Everybody wants to walk in and win the sale. That's completely understandable. But sometimes, like where we're going today, we already know location, we know the industry, we know if we don't know the owners, we know people that work there. I mean, that's how you get in. Hey, John so and so told me I need to come speak to the HR manager today because the talk on the floor is you're worried about your health insurance after you retire. Boom! You have now created a open-ended question instead of a yes or a no. That's how you have to start it. Oh yeah, the talk on the floor has been that. Can you help us? Bam! I mean, it's the key words of what you have to use to be able to close a sale. Hey, let me tell you, Andrew, you want to come drop a pie off at my house? You just keep them coming, my friend. I'll take them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it can't be a yes or no question, and I've always done that when I was teaching. It was never an open-ended yes or no question. Like somebody will call you and say, "Oh, are you the lady of the house?" Click. You know,
No, Howard is.
I'm identifying as a male today. How can I help you?
Yeah.
I am the housekeeper. The message for the owner you want me to tell?
Let me steer this back towards a restaurant. We touched about social media. We touched about branding, and talking to influencers and bloggers online.
I was gonna, Howard,
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask Herb, is it legal or is it possible that credit card, somebody uses a credit card at a restaurant, that the restaurant will be able to get that person's name, address, and phone number?
Sure. You could do that all day long. They're building their own mailing list.
Yeah, there you go.
I want to jump in real quick with something that Ed said. I'm in financing. I'm sort of the last person to want to talk to because sometimes people want to talk, some people don't. It's they just, and maybe they're embarrassed to talk to it. But he was talking about the petroleum show. I've been going to it probably since 17. And the last one we did was pretty good because I've had Ed in my booth for the last 3 years. We added these drinks.
Never recovered.
But we increased the amount of people that we scanned from the year before. I think we got maybe 30 more people. I don't have the scan list like other people would get because they're not financing. Okay. So in order to grow your business, you have to be there. You have to be in front of people and so they remember you. So there was a guy out of Cherokee, North Carolina. I did 2 of his gas stations with car washes. And his wife goes, "Oh yeah, I remember Brian. He's with Rogue." And I started talking to Dwight, and he's on his 3rd location, going to start. So I'm going to be talking to him about financing. But as far as what I do is somewhat the last thing that people want to talk about because I'm not really, I'm not doing something really tangible in a sense there. But like I said, it's about being in front of people all the time because if you don't, they're going to forget who you are.
Well, just basically what you just said, and what a restaurant owner would do as they were opening is to create that impression. And one of the ways this article says to do that is to offer a grand opening promotion whether it be a soft opening.
Oh, look at Chris. Hold on. Chris?
That's a suicide. Just
Which one?
a grand opening promotion. I mean, why don't you just open on a Friday night, right before Mother's Day or something? I mean,
No,
Yeah.
no. Well, you got to use
let the systems sink in, let the systems get rolling, and then when you're up and I mean, that's like playing the Super Bowl the first game of the season. I mean,
That's like saying you know you're going to fail, so please come in and get your twofers now.
oh
well,
yeah, I mean,
soft opening first. Friends and family night.
Well, everybody does that, but you don't announce that. That's an unannounceable, friends and family night.
yeah.
Hey guys, I hate to say this, but I've got a doctor's appointment in about 10, 15 minutes, so I'm about to cut loose. But great conversation. And I will do my best to be on next week. And Howard, I'll give you a call later on today once we look over that information. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, sorry guys, lost phone. Okay, everybody have a good weekend.
All right.
Goodbye.
Good talk.
All right, see you later.
What do you feel about implementing a loyalty and referral program? Is there
We do that at Worksite. We pay our clients for referring us, so they can make as little as $500 up to $4,000 just for sending me a client. So they give me a 10-person deal, I'm going to give them $500. They give me a 20-person deal, it's $1,000.
Yeah.
And it builds from there up to a max of $4,000. I had one HVAC client literally not pay for his service for 2 years because he put me in an HVAC networking group on Facebook, made me the preferred PEO to go to, and I signed 8 deals. And some of those deals were very significantly large. So he got $4,000 per deal and didn't pay a thing for his service with me. So, I mean, we pay people for their referrals all the time because it just makes sense. If someone's happy, we might as well reward them for referring us one of their trusted partners or vendors or whoever they're using.
right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Listen, this was a lively conversation. We didn't even get anywhere near towards the end of this, so I'll shelve it all for next week. I want to do the intros so that people watching know who we are. So, Brian, why don't you start us off?
Okay. So that's good that I don't go behind Chris.
Yeah, me too.
No. Good morning, everybody. I'm Brian with Rogue Financial Group. I am a commercial equipment financing company. I work all over the country from small, large projects, primarily the hospitality side, but I will work with other industries. And I've been in it for almost going on next year, almost 20 years. And again, Brian with Rogue Financial Group. I can be reached at 404 723 7222. Thanks.
Okay, Andrew. Good morning.
Good morning. Morning. I'm Andrew Nass. I decided about 8 months ago to open up a Concord grape pie company. And along with my dad, we had extensive knowledge of Concord grapes because we were growers of grapes in upstate New York for 40 years. And so it's not been quite a year yet, 3/4 of a year, and we're off to a good start, a great start. And as you know from these conversations, we're now looking to expand into other ways. And so my phone number is 315-651-2684. And the website is theconcordgrapepiecompany.com. And my email is Concord Grape Pies. I think that's what it is. Concord Grape Pies at gmail.com.
Okay, thank you. Jeremy, good morning.
Hey guys, good morning. Sorry I missed last week. I was at a networking, or not networking, what am I trying to say? A trade show. And it started bright and early, so that was a good time. So my name is Jeremy. I'm with Worksite PEO. We are your family-owned PEO that provides a full back office solution for just about any industry you can think of, restaurants, trades, assisted living facilities, you name it, we can help them. We do payroll, workers' comp, HR, and benefit administration. If you already have benefits, or you can get your benefits through us as well. So we work both ways. We don't make you fit into our box. We'll try to fit into the solutions that you need and provide all of those at a high level with a white glove concierge style service. One thing we do differently, and since we're on today's restaurant news call, I'll mention we do the FICA tip tax credit at no cost to your restaurant clients. So instead of their CPA charging them to run that every year, we're going to actually process it and front them the money quarterly based on their payroll numbers. So they'll actually get an invoice credit from us covering all of our fees, and anything left over can be used towards other buckets, of course. Most cases, they have 100% of their admin fee covered. The worst case I had was 64%. So would love a chance to talk to your restaurant clients and help them create real-time margin throughout the year through this FICA tip tax credit.
You know, I'm going to, Jeremy, I'm going to ask you, recommend that you do a presentation to the group, because you cover so many products. You cover that a restaurant can utilize. I think would be close for us as well to know exactly what to do. So let's schedule you to do, like, 10, 15 minutes.
Sure. I can do that.
Debate.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And tell us how we can reach you.
My cell phone is 904-295-5110. I know it's Jacksonville, but I cover all the way to the Panhandle, all of South Georgia, down to Daytona and over to Gainesville. So I have a very large territory. I even cover most of the Southeast when stuff comes in, like South Carolina, North Carolina. My email is jeremy@worksiteemployee.com. That'll be changing soon. I just can't officially give it out yet. It's going to be worksitehr.com pretty soon. Thank God. But it's Jeremy, JEREMY, @worksiteemployee.com.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to Herb. Good morning.
Good morning. Herb Denmark with Sleth Payments. I love this group. I'm having a good time. You're a great group of people. I've been doing credit card processing for 31 years. A lot of changes, a lot of shakeup. We've helped thousands of merchants across the country and in Canada. And if I can help you in any way, please give me a call, 610-721-2793. All the best.
Herb, that article that I sent you, is that is a pushback against the no fee?
No, not at all.
No.
It won't affect us. There's different types of fees. There's service fees and there's surcharging. That fee is what we typically don't do, so we're not going to be affected by it.
Okay, that's good.
Yep, thank you, though.
Let's go to Chris.
He did it on purpose.
Good morning, everybody. Chris Kaufman, CHRIS, Kaufman and Company, CHRIS, a clever acronym for clubs, hotels, restaurants, institutions, and sales, because those are the 5 disciplines since Monday, April 6, 1981, we have made placements. Most exciting news this week for our company, we received a search for a 6-figure chef in the Panhandle of Florida, independent restaurant doing over $5 million in sales on dinner only. And the opportunity for us to work on this position came to us because the owner used to hire people from me when he was up in Atlanta. And we have a very good track record with them, and they have a couple of restaurants. It's an excellent opportunity, and but they need a culinary pro. What they have done before they called me, they ran some ads on Indeed, and they got what they call the cream of the crap. And so therefore, they need a surgeon to surgically go in there and use his verbal scalpel to provide the quality talent that they deserve and that they want. Chris Kaufman, Restaurant All-Stars, conveniently reached at 404 All-Star. Now, if you can't remember CHRIS, I'm sure you can remember All-Star, 404-255-7827. And in New Jersey, call 404-255-7827.
Or the guy in Vidalia.
Yeah. The guy in Vidalia. You better believe it. The guy.
So,
Well,
Chris, I
who
won't
answered
say
the
anything, but
phone?
I think I know what chef you're talking about. Great guy.
Okay.
So,
I
Chris,
know
when
you
they
don't
call
know.
that number, who do they get to speak with?
Let me explain. This is not a branch. You get to talk to the man. Okay. Yeah. So your time will be well spent. And particularly if you happen to be a talented executive chef, move to the front of the line. So yes. And we are.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Was there a question? There is an answer. If there's a
Where's the answer?
I'm sorry.
Well,
Ed, you're up.
hey, Andrew, let me ask you a question. When
Yes.
you're looking at all the sites in South Florida,
Yes.
were they like the palm trees behind Chris's back?
I'm trying. I'm
Is
a
that what you were referring to? You know, all the palm trees. Okay.
no,
yeah.
well, not the palm trees, but I did see some coconuts.
Okay.
Great. Just one for today.
Goodbye.
I just thought I'd ask.
Is there a specific brand you're looking for?
Okay.
Hey,
My name is Ed Gerton with Seacoast Sales in Orange Park, Florida. We're an equipment supply company that specializes in frozen dessert equipment. So we have display cases for ice cream, gelato, pastries through ESA, GTI Design, and IFI. We have blast freezers available. We have hardening cabinets. We have ice cream machines from Carpigiani and BGI Industries, and gelato machines from Carpigiani and BGI. You can reach me at 904-334-4489. Have a great day. And keep your hands off the coconut.
Yes, for sure.
Yes,
Hey guys, can I say one more thing? Can I say one more thing? I'd like to extend everybody on the call that if you'd like to be a referral partner or a broker partner, we're willing to pay other people besides our clients. I didn't make that clear earlier. So if you want to make some extra money on the deals you've already made money on and kind of double dip, we love our broker partners and our referral partners. There's two different programs. So if you're interested, just give me a call. I'll tell you the details.
Okay.
Very interesting.
You're up.
I had I don't want to interrupt. Did everybody introduce themselves? I just had another comment.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I have I don't know if this applies for everybody, but somebody had mentioned getting past the gatekeeper to speak to the person you really need to speak to, the decision maker. And at least for me, I have a thing that works. When I walk into a restaurant or a hotel that has a restaurant unannounced, they don't know I'm coming. I go to the bar and order a Coke or an iced tea. So now I'm a customer. So once you're a customer and you talk to the bartender and say, hey, when the owner or the manager gets a chance, can they come out and just speak to me for a few minutes? And I always make them know it's not a complaint. I want to compliment you. And they're very happy to get the person in charge when they know it's a compliment. And I'm a customer, so they can't really they feel obligated to come say hi to a customer, and they come out. They come out. But if I just go in and at the hostess stand and say, yeah, hi, I'd like to speak to the chef. I've got some pies to sell him. There's a real good chance I'm going to get the brush off. So yeah, that's what I do. I go to the bar, I order a ginger ale, and then a few minutes later I say, hey, if a manager has a few moments, could they come on over?
Do they get upset with you for that? The manager?
Nope, never, because I start with a compliment. I'm like, hey, everybody's been friendly to me and stuff, and I just wanted to introduce myself. And then I will say, listen, you didn't know I was coming today, so you may not have the time, and I appreciate that. If you do have the time here's kind of what I'd like to talk to you about. But if you don't have the time, could we set up a meeting? What's a good day for you? And
Very clever idea.
that's how I do it.
That's
Yep.
great.
Hey, Terry, the one thing to mention and follow up on what you said about selling. The other thing I've always tried to do is I don't negative sell. I never say anything bad about another competitor. Never, never.
No, that's a give. That should be.
But I have seen too many people. The first thing they do is they say how horrible everybody else is.
Yep.
I have seen that too many times.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine someone doing that. You're just telling the person what kind of a person you are. And that's a throw, get out the door. And instead of being a pencil thrown at you, you're going to have a 13-foot dagger. So I don't think that's that should be a give, but you're right. It's not. They come, well, they don't really do what they're supposed to do. Their customer service sucks. Basically. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're right. And it happens all the time.
I avoid, generally, I try to avoid the competition. I only talk about what we can do or what I can do. That's what I can do. That's it.
That's why you're getting the sales.
Hey, John Wick once killed a man with a pencil. I just happened to see that the other night. Yeah.
All right, Terry, tell us what you do.
Lead poisoning.
Yeah.
Terry.
What I do. Okay.
First off, Terry, what Terry does is take care of Howard. Gets him in line all the time.
Yes. And I am the gatekeeper. Nobody gets through. None of those damn telemarketers get through. I am the gatekeeper. No, kidding.
I'll be calling later.
I'm gonna start calling from another number.
Brian, if it's a 404 number, I'm not going to answer it. So
it might not be a 404 number.
Oh, you can hide your number when you call, just so you know. Anyways, while we were on this call, I received a message that I have to call right back from a oven manufacturer wanting the leads. So he got an email from Howard, one of his email blasts, and he said, Terry, I'm very interested. Please call me. So I will get off the call and do that, since I have to keep our people happy and make another sale. That's what we do here. We handle leads. Me and my team, we put them together. We make sure that we cover the panhandle down to the southernmost part of the United States. And if you want to see coconuts, they're not behind Chris. They're on Fort Lauderdale Beach this week. Anyway, go down, enjoy the view. And I do the lead reports. That's my baby. That is second to none anywhere in the U.S. Anybody wanting a sample, email me, terri@trnusa.com. And now you'll excuse me because I have to go make a sale. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Everybody, good discussion today. Appreciate it. Hopefully, Andrew, you got a little bit out of it. Give you.
Yes, I did. Yeah, great conversation.
And I mean, everybody here has been through the war, basically, in sales. So we all have our methods and we will have our ways of deflecting a salesman as well. But it's all good information for everybody, and especially for people who are coming into the restaurant industry without experience. This is very valuable, and maybe next week we'll do the other half of it.
Okay.
Anyhow,
one more thing, Howard. Did you see the first place we ever met when we sat down and you explained all about your business was two J's in Boca? They went out of business?
That location,
That location.
That's because they didn't buy your pies.
That's right. That's right. They gave me a phone number. They gave me a phone number of headquarters that I
Oh,
should call. But anytime I can follow up on those things, but I stand a better chance with just a privately owned restaurant.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay.
Than a big, yeah, than a
Yeah.
multi-owned. Yeah.
All
Yes.
right.
But
Well,
we
Thank
we
you all. I
sunk
gotta
them.
hop off.
we'll do
Okay.
it
I
further.
know.
Thank you.
We've got a company in our 9 o'clock group who started out ground zero, and they have grown tremendously based on the information that they got from the group, from groups, both of us. So, Andrew, there's a tremendous amount of information uh, in these two groups for you.
Okay. That's
And
why I'm here. I'm here.
continue to do it. Next week, have a great weekend. Have a great
Okay.
weekend. See you all next week. Let the sauce be with you.